This is Kerrigan and Company.
Prize-winning fun. The Topsfield Fair is back, October 3rd to the 13th. From heart-racing thrills and exciting live entertainment, to award-winning food, giant pumpkins, and everything in between. There's something for everyone at the Topsfield Fair, America's oldest country fair. The Topsfield Fair, October 3rd through the 13th. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit topsfieldfair.org.
It's a reunion of some of your favorite well-known Boston TV personalities on this episode of Kerrigan and Company.
Kerrigan and Company is here for you. Yes, Kerrigan and Company is here for you.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Kerrigan and Company. So good to have you with us today. A couple of weeks ago, my co-host was Matt Siegel. You'll remember him from Kiss 108. And that day, my producer said, we have a mystery guest for the two of you. And I'm always nervous about mystery guests because my fear is that, my memory is short and maybe I won't remember who it is and I'll be embarrassed. But the mystery guest said, or rather the producer said, don't worry, you're going to know this mystery guest. Both of you will. Well, when the mystery guest popped up on the screen, I could not have been more excited to see someone I had not seen for a long time, a former colleague from Channel 7. And at the time, she and I chatted about when will you be back in Boston, and when you're here, would you come in and co-host with me? And she said, absolutely. So it is my honor. I am so thrilled to have with me today Sara Edwards. It's so good to see you.
It was so fun even doing the little pop-up, and I had used a Southern accent because your producer David was like, please change your voice.
Right.
But I think the minute I said I was in California taking care of my mom when I left Boston, you were like, Sara.
I did. I knew. I was so thrilled that I guessed you. I have to tell you, we've only had I think maybe two other mystery, and I've never guessed any of them.
Oh.
You were my only one that I was able to guess.
Flattered.
But you gave me that little tip, and of course, I've known that's where, you went and what took you out of Boston.
Exactly.
Something I want to talk about, by the way,
absolutely.
ultimately. But before we do, hi. So good to have you here.
It's great. I love podcasts, and I love that you're doing this. I was telling Kim before we started, she has the best voice for a podcast. I'm used to talking to a camera. On a podcast, I'm just chatting with you. Sorry.
No.
I think this is terrific,
well,
and I really hope you do well with it. It's so fun to be back in Boston.
Well, you said before we got started, we had way too much conversation before the show, by the way. Save it for the air. You said the energy in Boston is so great. Is it what you remember?
It really is.
Yeah.
I do love the energy here, and the drivers coming over in the Uber. It was we're going down, and there's a guy right in front of us in the middle lane deciding to go right, and I'm like, oh my God, the cops would have nailed this guy in California. They get pedestrians crossing against the light.
Right.
So, but there is just a great energy. Pasadena, where I live now, is wonderful and beautiful, but a sleepier town.
Sure,
so
absolutely.
This is fun. The energy is.
Well, I'm
going.
so glad that you could get back here, and you're here because I know you're here. You're actually here for a dress fitting.
I'm here for a dress fitting because I'm officiating my niece's wedding in October, and also it is my significant other's daughter's 21st birthday. She goes to Northeastern.
Oh my God!
And Taliana, shout out, and and seeing friends, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. How often do you get back?
Probably once a year. It's not enough. I really, we've come back quite a bit to see Taliana, go through Northeastern, which is such a great school. And, but I love the fall. I don't miss January, February, March, even April, May. It has snowed in May.
April and May are the worst two months of the year here.
Yeah.
Because you're in such anticipation that the spring and the summer is coming, but it really isn't here. There's no such thing as spring.
No. But I do miss Nantucket, the vineyard, the fall. Anyway.
Well, we're so glad that you're here. It's terrific. You were, I got to town in 1993 to Channel 7. You were already here. You'd been here since 91 at Channel 7. You'd been in the city for a while, and we're going to backtrack into some of your experiences prior to Channel 7 here in just a bit. But you were the entertainment reporter, and I want to tell you something. I don't think this is anything I've ever told you before, but I was this kid who came from, the Midwest, and I was very excited to be here in the big city and very excited about my opportunity at Channel 7. And I looked around around me, and there were so many women that I felt were so glamorous, and you were one of those women. And then you had this glamorous job on top of it. And so I stood back in awe. I mean that
No
honestly.
way.
No, I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. I just was so taken by the fact that I was working in a place that had an entertainment reporter, and then that entertainment reporter was you and what you were like, and then the wonderful things that you did while I sat back in awe. And it's something that, by the way, no local has anymore.
No, nobody does.
No.
Because I was there when Joyce and Dixie were also on air, and then all of a sudden we were all gone, one by one, like dominoes. But I loved it. You know, now they do, a lot of stations don't, and in LA they do.
Right.
But
That's
in
such
Boston,
a big part of what's going on
well,
there.
of course, you have to. They're a regular news reporter. You know, there's so much
Absolutely.
going on. But to be able to, you know, I was flying out to LA almost every other weekend to do a film junket, interview the stars, do the Oscars, the Grammys, the Emmys, the Golden Globes. I mean, it was
You stood on
whirlwind.
every one of those red carpets.
Oh, every one.
But numerous times.
Do you want to hear the best one?
Yes,
I was thinking
I
about
do.
this on the way here. The Boston boys, Matt and Ben. I am on the red carpet for Good Will Hunting. I had interviewed Matt Damon at the request of his father, and Channel 7 didn't want me to do it, at Harvard. Because he'd been in one movie, and they're like, "No, don't do that." Well, that subsequent interview has been used everywhere.
I'm sure.
But Matt and Ben were coming down the red carpet at the Golden Globes. Mary Hart from Entertainment Tonight was next to me, and she was going live. And she said, "Oh, here's Matt, Ben. Here's Matt and Ben." They came down and they saw me. Bypass Mary Hart, and we're like, "Sarah, Boston," and it was my moment in the sun. I think Mary Hart was like, "Who is this woman?" Right. Anyway, that was
Are her
a moment.
legs insured? Mine are.
Yeah, exactly. Hello, but I always loved interviewing them because it was the hometown kids.
Well, you know what? That is that one great thing about Boston, and I know you can so appreciate this. Hometown people come first.
Yeah, they do.
You know, they love it, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
they would pass Mary Hart to see you first.
Oh, they did.
They don't forget where they're from.
No,
that's
they
for sure.
never do. Mark
Yeah.
Wahlberg the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's great. Yeah.
So there were bad ones though, and there were bad moments. I mean, and you know, I like to tell my, you know, after I left you guys there and whatever, I went on to Fox morning news here, and so we had a lot of those entertainers and a lot of people who come through there. Yeah, and we had some stories. You know, and I can remember many times thinking to myself, people like you and Joyce, how you lived in that world and tolerated those individuals sometimes. I just don't know.
Most everybody was nice, but the notorious one that everybody was terrified of was Tommy Lee Jones. And I remember sitting down with him, practically shaking, and he smelled the fear. And I asked a question, and he said, "Ma'am, that's 2 questions. Which one do you want me to answer first?" And I was like, "Oh, well, anyone you want. Why don't you pick it?" Oh, he was so mean. And he was, I believe, Two-Face in one of the Batman movies, and Jim Carrey was the Joker. I went right into Jim Carrey's room afterwards and was kind of shaking, and Jim Carrey, sweetest guy in the world, said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I just left Tommy Lee Jones's room." And he goes, "Oh, Mary Sunshine." He goes, "Oh, he did the same thing to me." So
everybody knew it.
Everybody knew it.
And it
Even
wasn't
the
just
stars.
reporters.
No.
You know, it was just everybody that he treated like that. Yeah. Well, I tell you, you had a happy face on always, and you tolerated it. Yeah. But those can be tough times.
They can be. I mean, you know, another one, surprisingly, who was difficult when she was not in a relationship was Julia Roberts. She could be very cold, especially to the women reporters, and she would warm up to the guys. I have no idea why. But you never knew what you were going to get when you were going in. If she was happily in love, like with Benjamin Bratt, she was like, woo! And then when she wasn't, she'd just kind of sit there.
Wow.
And Minnie Driver was the same way. I hate to throw out these names, but...
Well, she's the one. She's mine.
Minnie Driver, she never gives a good...
She asked me if I would press her outfit.
What?
I was on TV. I was sitting at the news desk, and she asked me if I could come into the newsroom, the green room, to press her clothes.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Oh,
so
I'm so glad we share that.
That we do.
I love it.
We share so many things. You had this fabulous big life here. We could go on and on. Gosh, we could talk about that forever. I know. And we are going to talk more about some of the wonderful things that you did before I knew you.
Yeah.
In just a couple minutes. But Sarah, something else we share is that you had this incredible, and I mean, not just you and me, I'm sure a lot of people share this, but you had this incredible love for your mother.
Yes.
Who got older and needed help. And you gave all this up and went back to California to take care of her. Talk a little bit about that decision.
I had been doing a Comcast show with Barry Nolan, and we called it the Pretend TV because nobody saw us on TV doing it, but we had fun. That ended, and also a relationship I was in ended, and it started to snow, and I didn't have anybody to shovel my snow to help me. Where was that
Just
boyfriend?
being honest.
And so I said to Mom, I'm going to come out there for Thanksgiving, and this was 2009, and I remember watching the weather saying, Mom, do you know it's going to be sunny for the next 10 days? And she said, welcome back to, L.A., Sarah.
Right.
And I decided to move back.
Yeah.
And I did a part-time job on Extra. I was producing. I was too old for them in L.A. to be on air, for God's sake. But my mother had an eye problem, and she was a diva. And I loved her dearly, but I started to take care of her slowly but surely. I think she waited for me to come home.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I was buying Depends diapers at CVS going, they're not for me. They're not for me. you know? And she was just a love. She was a beauty. And she was offered a movie role when she was 19 years old and turned it down. It went to Betty Davis. Betty, is that Dave? Do I have it right? Yeah. Hang on for the bumpy ride. Betty, did Betty Davis? Yeah, the old. Yeah,
that's right.
I don't know. I need more coffee. Excuse me, gang. I'm sorry. It's early for me. But she had that kind of mentality.
Yeah.
But she was just wonderful. And, the last word she said to me before she died, I took care of her for 7 years, was, Sarah, you're amazing. And I said, no, Mom, you're amazing. She goes, Sarah, you're amazing, and thank you. That was the last word she said to me. I'm going to tear up talking about it, but she died 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
But it was a sacred task.
Absolutely. It's the privilege of your lifetime, really, isn't it? That you get that opportunity, because so many people don't get that opportunity. Well, I have great admiration for you for recognizing.
Do you share that?
My parents are well. My parents are well.
Oh, good.
And I have both of them. But when they do need me, I try to get there as quickly as I can and do what I need to do, my sister and I. And we recognize how blessed we are that we have this opportunity to have our parents, and if they need us, we can be there for them. And so I just very much appreciate the fact that you did that. I know maybe moving back to the sunshine was a good thing, but I also know you left behind a lot.
I did.
And that's not easy.
I remember standing in a dumpster because my mother, with her sight problem, had thrown away all of her theater tickets. So I'm in there with the gloves on and boots, and I thought, I used to be a somebody in Boston.
That's right. That's right.
Anyway, it was all worth it. It was all worth it.
I'm glad that you see it that way. That's for sure. Okay, so we are going to have 2 guests coming. Now, we're going to do something that we don't normally do here on the show, but we're doing it for you, Sarah.
Okay.
We don't usually have our guests together, but we felt pretty strongly about the idea that we should have both of these gentlemen together at the same time so that we could chat with them. So we're not going to say who it is yet.
No.
But they're 2 men from your past.
Yes.
A woman with quite a past here, apparently.
Who are the funniest, smartest people in the world. Yeah,
absolutely. So I'm very anxious to hear some of your stories, for all of you to share some of your stories, and I'm very anxious to meet both of them. One of them handed me an Emmy one time, I'm going to just be honest, which is really cool, and I was pregnant. I remember it very clearly, and I'm sure he does not, but we'll chat about that when he pops up. But these 2 guests are going to come and join Sara Edwards, who is keeping me company today, in just a moment. Everybody stay with us. This is Kerrigan & Company. Have you been to the Topsfield Fair yet? If not, what are you waiting for? If you have, why not go again? The Topsfield Fair is open through Monday, October the 13th. Bring your family and friends for prize-winning fun, thrilling rides, and the giant pumpkin. How about some delicious fair food? And make some memories that you won't forget. Go online for your tickets at topsfieldfair.org or get them at the gate. Come enjoy the live music, demolition derby, and the Paul Bunyan Lumberjack Show. Don't miss America's oldest fair, the Topsfield Fair.
Get ready for her life, her music, her legend. A new spectacular production of The Cher Show is live on stage at Bill Haney's North Shore Music Theater from October 21st through November 2nd. Get tickets at nsmt.org.
This segment of Kerrigan & Company is brought to you by Lucia Lighting and Design, where people in the know go for the best possible lighting and design experience. Welcome back, everybody, to Kerrigan & Company. It is so great to have you with us. And I got to tell you, I am so thrilled. Keeping me company today is Sara Edwards. And we can't have this much fun.
No. I love this.
So, I thought the best way to cut off our fun would be to have these next two guys.
Oh, yeah, because, they are just wet blankets, these two.
Bring this to a screeching halt.
Not successful at all. One of them I worked for, he was my partner in crime on Evening Magazine for 9 years before he went off to the big time to do hard copy and later extra. And then we rejoined later in our careers on Comcast and did a show together. And of course, my pal from New Hampshire, who went on to host Dancing with the Stars and was mega, mega successful, did People Are Talking at WBZ, and I would fill in for him sometimes. Tom Bergeron and Barry Nolan, welcome, welcome, welcome.
And you folks watching have to decide which is which.
Well, we've heard that your faces are interchangeable, right? Isn't that what you guys were told?
What did the critics say? What was it, Tom?
Terry Ann Knopf, in a column years ago when we were all at BZ, said of Barry and myself that we had interchangeable heads.
You guys look great. I love Barry. You're wearing blue. Good. We'd always tell you to wear color to bring out your eyes on Evening Magazine.
Okay. I just picked it because it was clean.
These two, we had
Sara,
so much fun back in the day.
Well, let me just start by saying this, you guys. I wasn't in Boston when the three of you were working together over at BZ. Man, that place was just chocked with talent, huh?
Well, they're like deer in the headlights now.
But it's true. It was.
Here's the thing. I agree with you. I think indeed it was sort of the golden age of Boston television. Mm-hmm. But obviously I'm a little biased in that regard. But at WBZ, look at the lineup on the news. You had Jack and Liz, Bob doing sports, Bruce doing weather, Evening Magazine, People Are Talking, coming together, all these wonderful locally produced shows that nowadays don't exist.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that's really changed enormously was when cable television was just starting as we were leaving Boston. And back in the day when there were just 3 channels for people to choose from, the stations really made an effort to reach out and do good. They were supposed to do a thing called community ascertainments, and they'd send people out to the communities and say, are we serving your interest, or are there shows that you think need to be on TV? And TV was fundamentally different back in the
It was appointment. Evening was appointment television, don't you think? Families would tune in at 7:30, and there was no streaming, there was no competition.
Right.
And it was far more fun to do because you didn't have to be in a bad mood to go to work.
And I had all the unemployed people watching. People Are Talking today. So.
Well, you started, if I may brag, my fabulous wife, Garland Waller, was the one that hired you for BZ originally to do Super Kids, and you did a great job on a show for kids.
She has impeccable taste in guys, doesn't she?
Are you
Okay,
trying
so-
to tell me something?
Oh, this is good, Kim. Let him go.
Right,
Let him go.
exactly. My gosh, finally we're getting the dirt. Okay, so we got to back up for just a second because, I mean, I think most people who are listening or watching know exactly what you guys are talking about. But for those who don't.
Yeah.
So let's start with, you just said, Tom, people who were unemployed, I kept them entertained. Explain why you're making that comment. Explain when the show aired.
Yeah, for 6 years, I hosted a show that all the Westinghouse stations had a version of it called People Are Talking. I think the Baltimore one, Oprah Winfrey hosted, and I don't know what became of her, but that was her gig then. And
things went downhill from there.
She did okay. I hosted it was a lot. It was very much like an Oprah Donahue format, live, 1 hour, different topic every day, sometimes serious, sometimes frivolous. We had a studio audience, as many bodies as we could get to Soldiers Field Road on any given day. And, is the caller there? The whole thing. I used to do my Donahue trot in the audience and all that. It was a wonderful time. And then occasionally, when when Barry forgot to get a taster for his food and was out sick, I could fill in on Evening Magazine.
Oh, yeah. We'd have fun doing that. We were all interchangeable parts a little bit.
Well, the three of you. Three of you. Yeah, right, exactly. And Barry, talk about Evening Magazine. I mean, that was so I'm certainly not taking away from the earlier show, but this was really popular at night. You guys, like you said, appointment viewing.
Appointment viewing, yeah. And we got to go
Evening
all over the
Magazine
world, too.
One of the great things about Evening was that it went out into all the communities around Boston, and they would do promotional series called, Extraordinary People. And it would highlight, people doing all kinds of things that the neighbors do that. And that's where we met, for instance, the Hoyts. And the Hoyts became like part of the Evening Magazine WBZ family for years. And the impact they had, we didn't do it, the impact that they had on other people was just so positive and so helpful. It was a show, back at a time when TV could give you hope instead of headaches.
That's a good point.
That's so true.
But we would do it. A lot of stories like he would mow his lawn by day and was a stand-up comedian at night. It was those dual lifestyles that were hysterical that we would do on Evening.
And we thought of it as the hyphen thing. It was dentist drag racing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And then there was the dentist drag performer.
That was much later.
Yeah.
That ran after the evening news, the late news, right? That was a different show.
But I want to interject briefly that Barry and I were lucky enough back in the day, we could call a country and say, we want to come to India. India said, come on, we'll fly you over. We saw the Taj Mahal. We played elephant polo, didn't we, Barry? We were on elephants.
You covered the elephant polo thing, and we had dinner with the Maharaja of Jaipur in his palace, sitting on the floor, eating with our hands. And it was one of the most extraordinary experiences. And Sarah, he really, I think he was, had a thing for Sarah.
Or Nancy Alspaugh. I don't know. Both. And his name was Bubbles. But we went to Switzerland, Hong Kong, India, Bali. Oh my God, Bali was fabulous. So, but that now,
never.
And they were like, we'll fly you out. We were like a tourism, ad for them.
Whoa. And people are talking. The furthest I went was to the diner behind DC in Allston. What the hell is that?
That's right, the diner.
Tom, this is the story they never told you.
Yeah.
When you were filling in for them, they said they were sick. Guess what? They were traveling the world. Tom, though, you said something that is so true. I mean, again, I don't know if you guys overheard, but I did work at BZ. I worked at BZ, but I worked there, early. I went to work there 2001. But, the legend of WBZ and the golden television years. I mean, it still stands to this day. Of course, you guys knew it as an NBC affiliate.
Yes.
You know, while I was over at Channel 7 here when that affiliation changed. So I've never known it really as anything but the CBS affiliate here. But I mean, you guys, you just saw that station in a completely different way than I've ever had the opportunity to.
And then I went from NBC, coming over to Channel 7 became NBC.
Right, you followed
NBC. And all of a sudden
NBC.
was on the set of ER and interviewing George Clooney,
Right.
and it was so fun. But I forgot about that. You're right, everything switched.
Everything switched, so it was very different. Listen, we're going to take this quick break, and when we come back, I want to talk about life after Boston for the two of you guys, and hear a little bit more about that. And I also, please, while we're in the break, if you'll just think about your favorite Boston moment, that would be great, because we'd love for you to share that. All right, so Tom Bergeron and Barry Nolan with us, and keeping me company today is Sara Edwards. Everybody, this is Kerrigan & Company. The holidays are coming. Is your house ready? If you're like me, you probably want to make some changes before your friends and family arrive to celebrate the season. You might need entirely new lighting, or maybe you just want some new pieces of furniture or some accessories. No matter what you're looking for, my friends at Lucia Lighting and Design in Lynn can help. Start by going to lucialighting.com to take a tour of their beautiful showroom, then make an appointment to see their incredible inventory of in-stock items. That's lucialighting.com. Tell them Kim sent you.
If you like rum, you're going to love Rumson's Rum, New England's most award-winning rum brand. Rumson creates distinctive and savory flavor profiles by hand-selecting and marrying the finest barrel-aged Caribbean rums. The spirits are then blended and finished in the New England Rum House. Choose from Rumson's Gold, Spiced, Grand Reserve, or Coffee Rum. Find Rumson's at liquor stores or ask for it at your favorite restaurant. Learn more at rumsons.com. That's rumsons.com. Rumsons. Life lived. Life enjoyed.
This segment of Kerrigan & Company is brought to you by Bill Haney's North Shore Music Theater. Stars come and go, but Cher is forever. The Cher Show, a high-energy celebration of Cher's life, is on stage October 21st through November the 2nd. Get your tickets at nsmt.org. Welcome back, everyone, to Kerrigan & Company, where I'm being kept company, not just by Sara Edwards, which is such a treat, but Sara's brought along a couple of her friends. And Sara, tell everybody who's with us.
We have Barry Nolan, who I worked with for years on Evening Magazine. Hey, Barry. And Tom Bergeron, who hosted People Are Talking in BZ. We would go running together on the Charles River. And then he went on, of course, to great fame with Dancing with the Stars as the mega host.
Right.
The best host ever.
And also, Tom, you also did another little show that continues to be on to this day.
Yeah, America's Funniest Videos.
Yeah.
Oh, America's Funniest Videos, absolutely.
Well, here's the thing, too. I hosted simultaneously for 15 years on ABC a show with the most athletic people on the planet, those pro dancers, and a show with the klutziest people on the planet.
The yin and the yang.
Covered America.
Right. Barry's right. You just covered America. There you go. Well, before the break, we kind of suggested maybe these guys could talk a little bit about life after they left Boston. So Barry, let's start with you. Your hard copy days. I mean, you popped up after the news that I was doing many years, and you were one of that was like that. To me, it felt like one of those groundbreaking shows where you were bringing together hard news and then news that some would say blurred the lines, which became a very popular format. So tell me a little bit about that whole experience.
I was happily working at BZ, and my contract was coming up for renewal. And I got a call out of the blue from ABC to do a pilot called Over the Edge. And it was ordinary people in extraordinary circumstances. So I asked them, and they said, yeah, you can do it. So we did that one, and then we did another one, and then we did a third one. And so the conventional wisdom was that that this will be in the ABC primetime lineup next season, and I'll be hosting it. So I told them, oh, thanks, I've had a great run, really loved it, but I'm going to take this opportunity. Thanks, I'm going to pass on the contract. And then about a month went by, and the schedule came out for the next year, and we weren't on it. And I was married, had a kid, had a big mortgage, no job, and no foreseeable job in the future. And my agent got a call from saying the people at Hard Copy and said, we could use them. And I just said, no, that's really not what I want to do. And about 3 months went by, and my kid kept wanting to eat. My wife kept pointing out I wasn't making any money and didn't have a job. And so I called up, and I was appointed sort of a contingency hire. And I went down to New York, and I went in the front door to the desk and said, "Hi, I'm Barry Nolan. I'm the new guy." And they said, "New guy what?" Yeah. They hadn't even bothered in Los Angeles hadn't even bothered to tell New York I was doing it. So I thought, this is not auspicious. But about a year went by, and for some reason they decided, we'll put him in at the anchor desk, which came as a huge surprise to me. And it was a weird experience, because you met all kinds of really extraordinary people. Like I got invited to Ethel Kennedy's birthday party to cover that. But you also met, O.J. Simpsons of this world. So it was really different from evening.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there a story? I always ask people this because, looking back on things like this, you frequently wonder, as someone from the outside, was there something that was like a turning point or a moment that you will never forget?
There were excuse me, from evening, there were all kinds of moments you never forget, but they're not like spectacular. Mm-hmm. Like we went to Ireland and we did this story about an Irish priest. It was like straight from Central Casting. And it looked like, what's his name, from Little House on the Prairie. And he it was Ireland, the town he lived in, I think it was Limerick. They had like 80% unemployment at that point. And there were kids growing up that was never going to have a job. So he did this program where he recruited families in Boston to host kids when they came over to run in the Boston Marathon. And he trained all these kids in Limerick who were, really struggling to be able to run 26 miles in the Boston Marathon by driving them a little further out of town every day and saying,
run back home.
And and he was having a talent show for the people. And I said, boy, what you do for these kids is so amazing. And he looked me straight in the eye and he says, but Barry, we also do much for those who have much to give. Oh. Really struck me that when Tom and Sara do all these charity things, and spend their weekend hosting charity programs, they're helping people get in touch with a better part of their nature. And it's really one of the great experiences of doing stuff like that.
I agree with Barry, and Barry was doing a lot of charity work and got me involved in it, and it makes gives your life such balance and perspective too. Yeah. So and of course Tom as well. So
absolutely.
Anyway.
Giving back, absolutely. It's a big part of. I think it's a big part of people's responsibility when you have a platform, for sure. Yeah. It really is. All right, Tom. Well, Barry, by the way, I know there's so much more to tell, and thank you so much for sharing that. Now, Tom, I want you to talk a little bit about life after Boston.
All right, I'm going to do the thing that you hate when you're hosting a show when the guest completely ignores your question.
Okay,
and
great.
goes to another anecdote. I figured this in my mind.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite moments on People Are Talking. John Denver, the late John Denver,
of course,
was, our guest. One of my favorite guests in all the time I did it. And Krista McAuliffe, had been on the Challenger, mm-hmm. and he originally was supposed to be in that seat. And he wrote a song after that tragedy called She Was Flying for Me. And we surprised him on live television by having Krista McAuliffe's students sing that song to him live.
Wow.
job.
Oh, not
And
a dry
he
eye
got
in the house.
teary-eyed. I got teary-eyed. He looked at me with this sort of half smile, and he said, "That's not fair." It was just a lovely, lovely moment. And Barry reminiscing triggered that memory. As far as post Boston, I lucked into a couple gigs here and there. But
Just little ones.
Yeah.
And one of the things I admired was your ability. Early on, you had a show, you did a special for BZ, and did a show where you worked with puppets.
Oh, yes. Happened to have a photo of that.
Yeah. And I found it hard to work with puppets when I did a show with Maude about seniors.
Oh.
And I kept, when the puppet's talking to you, if in real life you're aware that there's a guy down there with his hand up, up the puppet's butt.
Wait, Tom is going off to. Oh no! What is he?
All right. All right, I just want to get you acclimated, Barry.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Oh my Lord! Who is that? That's not Alf, is it? Oh no. Who is that?
This is Bob, one of the Bob the Puppets from, I have to say, my favorite experience in television, which was co-hosting a show called Breakfast Time on FX when it first launched back in '94. And it was this morning show. Can you leave the Frank? Thank you. It was this morning show that was like morning zoo radio on television in a 6,500 square foot apartment in the Flatiron district.
And you did it with Gelman's wife, current wife.
Yes, with Lori, then Lori Hibbert, now Lori Gelman. Yeah, that's right.
You knew that?
Yeah, I know.
So
well,
impressive.
I followed his career, and Gelman, of course, doing the show Forever with Regis and now Kelly.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
That's so great. Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
Okay. Now I got a couple questions about this. Let me get to it. First off, clearly each season we choose someone who cannot walk and chew gum at the same time, but has somehow been told you could be a winner. Is that true?
Well, yeah, I think the real appeal of that show wasn't watching people who were good at it. It was watching people who you could see kind of get better at it as the season progressed. And also, what I always admired about the people who were willing to do it is it's live. It's not like you're hoping to become a ballroom dancer professionally. It's not like the singing competitions where they're hoping to have a career, be signed by a label. These people like Jerry Springer did the show so he could learn how to dance at his daughter's wedding.
Yeah, so, that's great.
Layla Ali did it, and Muhammad Ali, who was in sort of the later stages of Parkinson's, came to the show and sat in the ballroom to cheer his daughter on. There are just so many lovely moments, but a lot of the appeal was that these people can't do it, and some of them couldn't do it more than others.
Right. Well, it for the two of you, both of you went on to shows that were just incredibly popular. It really became sort of a part of the fabric of the country for their time periods. What was the difference after you left Boston? And obviously, both of you had major popularity here, along with my dear friend Sarah here. But then you went out in the real big world, and then the real world started to know who you were and what your life was like. How did that change your worlds?
You start, Barry.
There were, when you do a show like Hard Copy that covers some of the naughty bits people get up to, it seems you're isolated for the most part when you are doing it in a studio and go home and have dinner by yourself and watch TV and go to bed. But if you go out in the world, you occasionally... I was sent out to cover Burt Reynolds doing a book signing, and Hard Copy had covered some of Burt Reynolds' major indiscretions here and there.
Oh my God!
And
Hi, Bert.
I'm sitting there standing with a crew just shooting B-roll, and Burt Reynolds is writing, and he looks up and he spots me and he goes, "There's that jerk from the show." And it's interesting.
Yeah, I get that same line at airports a lot of times. For me, one of the chief benefits was the unexpected gift of friendships with people that I grew up admiring. Carl Reich. Actually, that started off People Are Talking, but later, I just finished doing the audiobook for Dick Van Dyke's latest. Called 100 Ways to Live to 100.
That's fantastic.
That is so great.
In the end, in December he turns.
I will get the audiobook. That's great.
Yeah, it was such fun to kind of perform as him. There was this one part, because he'll tease about his bad Cockney accent from Mary Poppins, but I got to the point in the book where he's talking about that, and I'm thinking, should I do a really bad Cockney accent too?
Did you?
Why not? Hello, Mary Poppins.
That's great. I can't wait to hear that.
Dick Van Dyke, on one of his shows, in the Dick Van Dyke Show with Mary Tyler Moore, did a thing that today I use from time to time to help me get through. His wife, Mary Tyler Moore, comes in and wakes him up and goes, "Honey, you got to get up. We've got to do stuff today." "Oh, sweetheart, it's Saturday. I just need to sleep another little bit because so I can have a full night's sleep." And she goes, "Okay." And he goes back, he closes his eyes, and she sets the clock ahead an hour and sets the alarm so she goes out the door, the clock goes off, she comes back in, and he wakes up going, "Yeah, I'm ready to
refreshed.
go." And I just thought it was such a great comic bit, but I think even to this day, I remember that when I'm complaining about getting up and getting out of bed. I just think, remember that Dick Van Dyke thing? Right. It's all in your brain.
It's all in your
and Garland remembers it too, which is why she sets the clock.
So, gentlemen, let's talk about what's ahead. What's next for the two of you?
Well,
that was radio silence right there.
I know. Well, maybe it's because there's so much they don't know what to say.
I talk about. I may or may not be on TV again soon. I don't know. It's being discussed.
Mm-hmm.
What is the nature of
I can't say any more than that, I'm afraid.
Come on.
That's terrific. Yeah. Great. In the meantime, you're there in New Hampshire enjoying life.
Yeah. I head out to LA, I think, end of October, early November, actually.
Mm-hmm.
We have to have coffee, Tom. Come on.
You know what? Let's go run around the Charles and see if we can keep our old pace.
Do you remember we would be running along the Charles and you would say, "Sarah, keep running. I'm going to walk fast." And you were walking faster than I was running. We were like, we're wogging here.
We're wogging, French
right.
legs, too. So
and Barry and Garland are in Virginia Beach, which is wonderful. And I've visited them out there, and
which is fantastic.
Love and life, right, Bear?
One of the things I like is just right out that way is a 2,000-acre park right out the back door. And sweet. It gets so quiet that I've got one of those little decibel meters on my phone. And sometimes at night, I'll turn it for my enjoyment. I don't know why I get a kick out of it. I watch the sound level go down to where it's near 30 decibels. And it's got a little comparison chart on this thing, and it says there's quiet, what's like rustling leaves and whispered voices and quiet home, and 30 decibels is the boundary of hearing. Okay. And if it was any quieter sometimes, it would be wasted on me. But I'm enjoying the peace and quiet.
Good for you.
A friend of mine
That's
introduced
great.
me to an app, which I love, and I use it both here at the house and when I'm in California. And you just hit record, and it tells you the birds that it's picking up bird song from.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I have that.
Pretty cool.
Oh, I love it.
Cool.
I love it. Yeah.
Wow. So, Tom, are you you're a listening birder?
Well, no, I just was curious who was interrupting my meditative session.
There you have. There, I got it.
Tom is a long time meditator.
Meditator?
Yeah.
That's what's kept you alive, right? Kept you not crazy, right?
Bird, buddy.
I love it.
App
I
on
love
the
it. That's
phone.
great.
It's come to this for all of us. It's come to the
right.
bird app. From jumping out of planes, traveling the world,
On my phone.
talking to stars. That's the bird.
You guys, this has been such a treat. I can't tell you, and it really has been a lot of fun. Hey, before we go in, just Tom, you were going to show us. I want the folks to see and for you to explain what you have.
For those of you listening, not watching, this is 4 photos from my time at WBZ. The top bottom right is when I was on the new news after they canceled People Are Talking. Bottom left is a special People Are Talking show. Wraparound was a teen talk show I hosted. And then the top left, one of the first things I did at BZ, and I think Garland produced it, Barry, was a special on childhood sexual abuse called This Secret Should Be Told. And we won a regional Emmy for that. And the woman I was with who had the puppets, she worked in therapy with children to help them be able to talk about these things that, they had to endure and then had to be told, you can never tell anybody about this.
Right.
And so that was that it kind of gives you a sense of the kind of programming that WBZ did. I know CVB did as well. Really powerful, locally produced shows that you just don't see as much of anymore.
No, you don't. They don't. Yeah, they don't have the dollars, and really, I think they don't really have the will to do that same kind of thing.
Yeah. I think if they had the will, they could find the dollars.
I think you're probably right.
I think the will comes first.
I think you're 100% right.
And Tom.
Yeah.
Listen, thank you both. This has been a delight.
Thanks, guys. So great to see
pleasure.
these faces.
Thank you.
Mwah, mwah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wish you all could just come over to the house. That's great.
We would love to come for brunch if we could get there. I just think it will be, Gentlemen, thank you. Best of luck to both of you. Continued success.
All the best. Thank you.
All right, guys.
All right, this
Miss you,
is
Tom.
Kerrigan and Company.
Get ready for her life, her music, her legend. A new spectacular production of The Cher Show is live on stage at Bill Haney's North Shore Music Theater from October 21st through November 2nd. Get tickets at nsmt.org.
Is there anything better than a fun Friday? Well, how about adding a facial to it? My friends at Sienna Aesthetic Medical Spa in Beverly are hosting Fun Facial Fridays every Friday in October from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Now, if you book a hydrofacial on an October Fun Friday, you'll enjoy $50 off, along with pumpkin coffee and muffins. So don't miss out on the savings and the fun. Book your October Fun Friday facial today at Sienna Aesthetics Medical Spa. Go to SiennaAesthetics.com. That's SiennaAesthetics.com.
Prize-winning fun. The Topsfield Fair is back, October 3rd to the 13th. From heart-racing thrills and exciting live entertainment to award-winning food, giant pumpkins, and everything in between. There's something for everyone at the Topsfield Fair, America's oldest country fair. The Topsfield Fair, October 3rd through the 13th. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit topsfieldfair.org.
All right, great. 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back, everybody, to Kerrigan and Company. Keeping me company today, Sara Edwards. And Sara, you brought Tom and Barry, and wow.
Oh, it's so great to see them. It was like a huge reunion
I hope you
of the
enjoy
great times of television here in Boston back in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s.
You know, Sara, I really was not exaggerating when I say, just the idea that all you guys were there at BZ at the same time is just...
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It really is. And then you go a step further, and I think about the fact that you had that news team that was sitting there, that in this city, that team...
Yeah.
To
Jack Williams, Liz Walker, Bob LaBelle. The ultimate team.
honestly,
Yeah.
they are. When you use, a lot of people throw the term around legend. They're legend, but in Boston, those people are legends, and that was the golden age of TV.
It really was. It was special. I remember. That was the time when I got recognized the most because people would come up and say, Sarah, I saw you, skiing the other day. You got to work on your, your turns are not good. They feel like they could just tell me anything, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. How many years did you guys do the show?
9 years on Evening Magazine. Then I think it was 10? Was it 10 years at WHDH?
Yeah, absolutely.
It was just a great ride.
Yeah, it's terrific.
With you.
Well, part of it, you bet. We do this thing here called the Fast Five.
Oh, God.
Which is 5 questions, rapid fire. And it lets our listeners and our viewers get to know you a little bit better.
Okay.
So are you ready, my friend?
I'm ready. Okay.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, and 1. Who's one of your favorite celebrities that you've interviewed?
Tom Hanks.
Who is one celebrity that you haven't interviewed but you wish you could?
I love Lady Gaga.
Now that you live in Pasadena, of course, home to the Rose Bowl parade, do you have roses in your yard?
I did, but they died.
Uh-oh.
They died. Little yellow roses. They were my mother's. I transported them to my little back garden. All right, I'm going to replant now.
If you were responsible for selecting People Magazine's Sexiest Man Alive, who would you choose?
I always liked... I love George Clooney at any age. I don't care. I would put him back up there again, or Brad Pitt. They're interchangeable. I don't care how old they get.
I'm with you. And what is one movie that everyone seems to love that you didn't?
Oh, God. Lord of the Rings. I called it Bored with the Rings, and I had people hating me for that. I could not stand Lord of the Rings.
I do have to tell you, I have never seen Lord of the Rings.
Don't bother.
I'm just not. That's not my thing.
Yeah.
So I would feel that same way. But it is funny. That's a cult thing, isn't it?
It is.
So crazy.
It is.
Favorite moment in Boston? Do you have one? Can you? You know what I thought? I want to just tell you this. What I thought was so interesting was Barry talking about one of his favorite moments, and it was with that priest in Ireland and those moments. And when I look back on my career, some of my favorite moments have nothing to do with celebrities, sports, nothing. It's real people I met.
I have one. I met her at a March of Dimes event. She had polio, Muriel Chiton, and she had been in an iron lung for years, but they had rigged up a chair so that it could breathe for her, and she was at a place in Jamaica Plain. It was a hospital. I don't know if it's still there, and she had a rocking bed. And I would go visit her after I met her at the March of Dimes event. Wow. And I saw her for years until right before she died, and was so distraught when she died because I did a story on her and I said, Muriel, what keeps you going? You know? Right. And she said, I never wanted to die because I love Chinese food. And I always was looking forward to Chinese food. And the nurses here get me out in my special chair and we go have Chinese food. And so we took her out to get Chinese food for the story. And that has stayed with me. I don't want to die because I want a good Chinese food. I still love life. So anyway, those are moments that stick with you.
They do. They do.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that people really understand that. I know it looks like it's really cool when you meet the quarterback or whatever, but it's those moments
that's great
that are
too.
Yeah,
that's great
right.
Too.
Sure.
Yeah.
George Clooney, no doubt, that was probably great.
Yeah. Oh, because I covered ER all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like, Sarah, how you doing? It was like, oh, George, like we were pals, right?
And that was even before he was the George Clooney. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, he was a doll. He was a doll. I was at an airport and saw Matt Damon, like incognito, and I did not go up to him. I didn't want to bother him, but I thought back in the day I would have gone right up, and it would have been, Sarah, how are you doing?
Yeah,
but I thought, let
absolutely.
him go.
Right,
let him go.
Gonna let him go.
Yeah.
We miss you in Boston.
Oh, well, I love being back. I love it, and I think your show is just fun to do.
Thank you so much.
And
I asked the guys what's next for you, and I know you said out in Pasadena, you are involved with a lot of charity work.
I do a lot of stuff. I do a show called Inspiring Voices, not a show, but a speakers series for at my mother's church. So we find interesting speakers, authors, all of this stuff. And I am president of Pasadena Beautiful, which is a group that keeps Pasadena Beautiful. We work on our urban forests and the canopy and the
Excellent.
trees, which I love.
Yeah.
And we plant trees and we prune gardens. My mother is laughing up in heaven because she couldn't get me to go out and water a plant at first. But
Apparently
now-
not. The roses are dead.
Now I'm president of Pasadena Beautiful, but it's fun. I love community engagement.
Well, listen, it's not surprising to me at all, and that community is very lucky to have you. That is
thanks,
for certain.
Kim.
And we were thrilled to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
You
and
made
good
good
luck
on a
with this.
promise. You said when you came to town you'd do it, and you did. And I so
Yay!
appreciate that. So,
Great to
and
see
by
you.
the way, she's in town to get fitted by David Joseph.
Who did all my Oscar gowns, and he's doing a dress. I will be officiating my niece's wedding, and I wanted a very pretty dress.
David is trying to get this seat for good, but I just want him to be a guest on and on and on again. So, all right, listen, thank you again.
Thank you.
Continued success, my friend, and be well.
Okay.
And thanks to all of you for listening and watching. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure you subscribe and be sure you check out our social media, and we'd love it if you'd follow us. We'll see you again next time. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Kerrigan and Company. To find out who will keep me company and be my co-host on the next episode, be sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, and TikTok. Kerrigan and Company is recorded at the Big Night Studios at the TD Garden in Boston. You can view the podcast on YouTube and listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure you tell a friend. The executive producer of Kerrigan & Company is David Thompson, and our social media managers are Grace Kerrigan, Colby Thompson, and Riley Thompson. See you next time.